Good morning, fourth grade online learners. Welcome to February 23rd, 2021. Guys, yesterday I didn't have anybody in class, but today I have Mr. Casper's class. Everybody say hello. Okay, so yesterday, kind of in a hurry, I read through this lesson and I wanted to read through it again and kind of highlight some of the things from each page. So this week, just as an overview, if you're at home online, you might or might not have this book. Pay attention to this video, 3 journal entries this week, and a quiz on Friday. So if there's no other problems with the weather, this will be like a normal 5-day week for the rest of the week. Okay, chemical changes. And in this picture, they show a house burning, unfortunately. Now, I'm not sure what's going on there. Sometimes when fire departments practice, they will get an old structure and light it on fire, and hopefully that's what's happening there. But the caption says, burning is a chemical change that gives off light and heat, which are two forms of energy. A chemical change produces new kinds of matter. And they talk about waffles for breakfast. If you've ever made batter for waffles, you know that it is a mixture that includes flour, sugar, oil, and eggs. Can you taste the eggs when you eat a waffle? Not usually. After you cook waffle batter, it looks different from the way it looked before. The properties of the flour, sugar, oil, and eggs have changed. That is why you cannot taste the eggs. Cooking waffle batter is not a physical change. It's a chemical change. A chemical change is a change in matter that produces new kinds of matter with different properties. Energy is always involved in a chemical change. It is either given off or taken in. When you make waffles, energy is taken in by the batter to produce a new kind of matter. So as far as the fire goes, the new matter is ashes. So that house had many different types of matter, and by the time the fire got done with it, it took the wood, it took the shingles, it took the plastic, whatever was there, and turned it into ashes. So it can be a very unfortunate thing because if that's a real fire, everything you owned inside is more or less probably destroyed. But the point of this is it might even just be a practice video that they're making or practice picture, practice for the firemen, and they want to show them what does the new matter look like. And they often look for clues within that matter as to how did the fire get started. And if they have certain hot spots, they can identify somebody might have intentionally set that fire for whatever reason, which is not good. It's actually a crime if you set a fire because people could get hurt. Arson, correct. So fire detectives can often see where did this thing get started? Where's the matter burned more than other areas? Where is the matter really ashes? And they can often determine, was this an accident or was this on purpose? And accidents happen, guys. It could be that you had a candle in the house, whatever the accident may be, but the end result is a lot of property damage, and the matter will definitely look different. Sebastian.
I have a question. Can I read this?
Actually, I'm going to read just because so everybody at home can hear me, but maybe we'll save a page or two at the end. Serafina.
One time, I think it was like last year, and we were coming home. My mom came in, and she was talking to my grandma. She said my grandma's back porch got on fire.
Wow.
And they went home, and the neighbor called 911. So they technically, if the neighbor wasn't there, the whole house would be like gone.
Well, I'm glad they were able to control that fire. Okay, and your grandma's okay?
Yeah, that was fine. It wasn't in the house. It was in the back.
Okay, good. Daniel, what did you want to say?
One time my dad was cooking, and then they told me to try it, so then I accidentally dropped something like in it, and then it caused like a really small fire, but we put it out.
Okay. All right, well, let's do this, guys. Let's have our hands down for now because we're still making the video, and after the video's over, we can talk, and if whatever interests you the most. On this page, we talked a lot about fire. On the next page, we talked about waffles. But the main thing we're talking about here is chemical changes, and we can share some stories when we're done. So, in a chemical reaction, the properties of the products. Waffles are always different from the properties of the reactants. the ingredients in the waffle batter. Like physical changes, chemical changes involve particles of matter, atoms and molecules. In a chemical change, however, atoms and molecules do not simply rearrange. Molecules break apart and form new combinations with other atoms and molecules. The result is new matter with different properties. Atoms and molecules form these new combinations in a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is another term for a chemical change. In a chemical reaction, the matter you start with is called the reactant. When you make new waffles, the reactants include flour, sugar, oil, and eggs. The product of a chemical reaction is the newly formed matter. Waffles are the product when cooking waffle batter. Okay, now on the next page we talk about batteries. And guys, batteries are needed when you are powering a car. I also recently put a new battery in my lawn tractor. And batteries generally last about 3 to 5 years. Surprisingly, this one in my lawn tractor lasted for 20 years. When I took it back to the lawn tractor place, they could not believe how long that lasted. And I said, will you please sell me a battery that lasts another 20 years? And they said, we can't guarantee you. We can tell you you're going to get at least 3 years. So why do we have batteries? Well, let's explore this on this page. Every time you ride in a car, you depend on chemical changes. First, a chemical reaction in the car battery produces electricity that starts the car. Then the car engine burns gasoline in a chemical reaction to produce energy that moves the car. The exhaust includes the products of burning gasoline. Chemical changes happen all around you. Burning wood, exploding fireworks, and rusting metal are chemical changes. Your body changes food in chemical reactions to give you the molecules and energy you need to grow. Clues that a chemical change is taking place include bubbles changing in color, state, temperature, odor, and energy are all chemical changes. Thermal energy is the most common form of energy involved in chemical changes. Thermal energy can be added, such as when lighting a fire, or released, such as in an explosion. Other forms of energy involved in chemical changes include light, electricity, sound, and motion. The biggest clue to a chemical change is the formation of products that have properties different from those reactants. Okay, we talked a little bit about car batteries, tractor batteries. There's a picture of one. I'm going to read the captions around it. The case is plastic and it keeps the chemicals inside the battery, which is good because often the chemicals are acid. Cells are compartments in the battery that contain lead, lead oxide, and acid. The chemical reaction that takes place in a car battery releases energy in the form of electricity. This electrical energy is used to start the car. Terminals. Electrical energy flows in and out of the battery through wires connected to the terminals. And guys, in a battery, there's always a positive side and a negative side. Often when batteries get weak, you have to jump start them, and they'll give you a red cable and a black cable. And you hook another red cable and black cable up to another battery, and you can bring that battery back to life sometimes if it's not too dead. Let's have our hands down until we're done though. Okay, so the important thing is that you always put red on red and black on black. And often they'll have a positive and a negative sign. Red is always positive, black is always negative. So on a cold morning, like we had a few days ago, sometimes your car won't start, and you can jump start it by charging electrical energy from another battery to your car. How many of your parents ever had to do that? Anybody raise your hand if you've ever seen a car get a jump start? Okay, that's what we're doing, is giving energy from one car to another car. All right, so I'm taking a look, and let me take a look at the time on this video. And we've been talking for almost 10 minutes, so I'm going to save some of this for tomorrow. We'll have another discussion tomorrow. And online learners, there is a journal entry today. Maybe you did it yesterday. But make sure Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, you get those done. Those journal entries should complement what we're talking about in the book. And be ready for the quiz with the use of the study guide. So good job at home, good job in class today. Looks like we have lots of hands up for a discussion that's about to take place once I save this video. And online learners, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Bye-bye.